Hello everyone, I'm Luci Mik, also known as Teacher Luci Mik. I'm an English teacher and I'm here to help you practice your listening skills through the power of stories. You're listening to the very first episode of the Stand Under Tales. I chose this name because of a profound insight from my therapist who follows the science of analytical trilogy, also known as integral psychoanalysis. He explained that to truly understand something, we must be willing to stand under it. In other words, we must be humble enough to place ourselves beneath the subject, overcome our internal resistance, accept the rules of reality, and let the knowledge flow into us. In this podcast, I'll share stories written by me and polished by Gemini AI. To help you learn, each episode will feature two versions of the same story. First, a version for beginners with simpler vocabulary and a slower pace, and then an advanced version for those who want a challenge. Today, we'll talk about a young man, a car, and the struggle to accept rules without losing himself in the process. Let's go! The beginner version. Our story today is about Alex. Alex is learning to drive a manual car. He is very frustrated. He hates the rules of the clutch and the gears. He thinks the rules are boring and unnecessary. His instructor, Rachel, says, if you don't follow the rules, the car won't move. It's simple. Alex doesn't like rules. He has fought really hard to be his authentic self. Years of therapy have taught him that his voice needs to be heard. So he doesn't want to follow rules. He wants to do what he wants. The problem is, it doesn't matter how authentic, creative, and wonderful he is. The car will not change its mechanism. So he has a choice. He can fight the car and stay angry, or he can take the bus. But Alex hates the bus. At one point, he gets so tired that he decides to stop fighting. And you know what? It worked. The car moved and he could drive. He finally figured out what it means to stand under the rules of the car. He was very happy. Alex realized that to learn anything, English, a new job, or a sport, we must first follow the rules. First we learn, then we adapt. The advanced version. The air inside the sedan was thick with tension. Alex was slumped in the driver's seat, his brow furrowed with a frustration that went deeper than just gears and pedals. To Alex, these mechanical rules felt like a personal affront. Why must it be this way? He demanded. It feels so arbitrary. Rachel, his instructor, remained composed. It's physics, Alex. You aren't making the car easier to drive by defying its process. You're simply making the learning harder for yourself. But Alex's resistance was rooted in a misunderstanding of his own journey. He'd spent years in therapy, learning to find his voice and protect his authentic self. However, he was now confusing authenticity with autocracy. He felt that surrendering to these rigid rules was a compromise of his spirit. He thought, if I have to follow a manual, I'm not being me. Rachel looked at him with quiet clarity. Alex, the car is indifferent to your ego. But it's not the enemy of your authenticity. It doesn't matter how wonderful you are, the car's mechanism is a reality you must meet. True authenticity isn't the power to ignore reality, it's the power to master it. She laid out the choice. You can stay stuck in this seat to prove a point, or you can use your voice to tell the car exactly where you want to go. But first, you have to speak its language. Alex realized then that his resistance was perhaps just pride, or confusion even. He remembered something a wise man once said to him, that to truly understand, one must stand under. He realized that bowing to the car's mechanism wasn't losing himself, it was the only way to finally set himself in motion. As he finally eased onto the clutch with newfound humility, the engine hummed into a steady rhythm. He understood then that we must first honor the structure of reality before we can ever hope to navigate it with freedom. In what area of your life are you fighting the rules instead of standing under them? Think about that as you practice your English today. I hope you enjoyed this first tale. Welcome to the journey. Please feel free to comment, send your suggestions, or share your feedback. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Teacher Luci Mik, and I'll see you in the next chapters of the Stand Under Tales. Bye-bye!